Whenever you are.
All right, thank you. First of all, I want to say thanks for coming out. Not really sure what we're going to do here, but we're going to learn something. Want to start, I know some people still eat, but let's stand up and say the pledge of allegiance to the flag. Right there, here behind us. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next thing, let's give Mike Cook and his crew a big thank you for letting us use the facility. Randy paid for the pizza. Cut your phones off.
Yeah, phones off, hearing aids on.
Whenever we get ready to leave, try to be quiet. We do have a service going on in the chapel over here. Whatever time that is, it goes to 8 o'clock, I think. At this time, I want to introduce Sergeant Brett Miller. He's a nationally certified military honors trainer, so he's going to teach us something.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Again, I'd like to thank Mr. Cook and his staff for graciously allowing us to use his building tonight. Not a lot of local business owners are going to open up a brand new for what is all intents and purposes a brand new building at their facility, for some training like this. So again, Mr. Cook, we really appreciate you letting us be here tonight. Yes, sir. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sergeant Brett Miller. I'm a medic with the North Carolina National Guard. I'm a member of the 882nd Engineer Battalion. 882nd Engineer Company in Taylorsville, North Carolina. To my left, we have Chief Warrant Officer Dustin Huffstetler. Mr. Huffstetler is an aviator. He flies the UH-60 Blackhawk airframe with Charlie Company, 1st of the 131st in Salisbury, North Carolina. To his left, Staff Sergeant Hannah Eckerd. She is with the 258 Utility Detachment in Butner, North Carolina. She is an engineer with them. And to her left is Specialist Quadaris Gibbs. Specialist Gibbs is a new soldier to our program. He is with Company B, 1st of the 120th Infantry Battalion in Lumberton, North Carolina. Mr. Gibbs has only been out of Iraq, 2 months? Iraq and Jordan, probably 2 months. Yeah, only recently got back from a deployment. So one, we're glad that he came back home safely. And two, he is a brand new soldier to our program, and we are incredibly lucky to have him in the short time that he's been with us. He's picked up what we do very quickly. I am one of the nationally certified trainers that the state of North Carolina has. Many of the soldiers who participate in our program attend a 40-hour block of instruction that we host a couple times a year at various locations throughout the state of North Carolina. Anymore, they generally go on at the Joint Force Headquarters building in Raleigh, North Carolina. Myself, along with Staff Sergeant Eckerd, we both have attended the 80-hour block of instruction that the Department of the Army and the National Guard puts on for us. She and I both attended at Camp Robinson in North Little Rock, Arkansas. But due to budget constraints, that classroom has kind of been dissolved and absorbed into other programs. And now the National Trainers Course is, we kind of colloquially refer to it as a traveling roadshow. They go to various locations all throughout the United States. They have an area to billet soldiers. They have an area to train soldiers. And it's a mobile classroom. Technology is amazing that with a couple of apps on an iPad or on a telephone that you can videotape training and critique soldiers on a big screen TV with just circles and arrows, just like you see on Monday Night Football. At that 80-hour block of instruction, it's a train-the-trainer course. We learn how to teach people how to fold a flag. We teach people how to operate the ceremonial bugle. We teach people how to pallbear. We teach people how to fire volleys. And we teach soldiers, and tonight we'll be teaching soldiers, civilians, veterans, local EMS people that are here this evening, how to do what we do. Sergeant Eckert and we are incredibly lucky to have attended that course out in Arkansas. Prior to my joining the North Carolina National Guard, I was a member of the Honor Guard detail with the U.S. Marine Corps in Washington, D.C. at Marine Barracks 8th and I. It's called that because it's literally right at the corner of 8th and I Streets in southeast Washington, D.C. I spent my entire Marine Corps career there. I had an incredible opportunity to see so many great things when I was there. President Clinton was elected president. Both of his inaugural parades were conducted during that time. Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall passed away shortly after I arrived there. President Nixon and his wife passed away while I was there. Jackie Kennedy passed away while I was there. The 50th D-Day anniversary was there while I was there. We dedicated, we had the groundbreaking for the Women in Military War Memorial at the entrance of Arlington National Cemetery. We had the groundbreaking for the Korean War Veterans War Memorial right on the National Mall. It was just an amazing time to be in the national capital, and that was really where I kind of learned to do almost none of what I do now, but I learned how to be passionate about what we do. And it's the passion that we bring to the program every day and to honor veterans every single day that make not just what we do, but what you do every day as Patriot Guard riders, as civilians, as EMS personnel, and as patriots, and as Americans. For us to be able to do that every day, there is no greater job. The only thing I've gotten to do in my life greater than that is to be a husband and a father. And this is a real close tie with both of those every day. So just a couple of words. Really, it's going to be, to start out tonight, it's really going to be kind of aimed at Mr. Cook and Mr. Marsh. After that, we're going to talk about what we're going to do tonight as far as the training goes. And then we brought some practice flags and some brand new ones that you would find at a funeral service if you went there and there was no military present. Teach you how to do what we do. I'm going to exercise a little bit of a First Amendment right. I don't have one because I wear this uniform every day, but I'm going to exercise it a little bit. My opinion is that we're living in some pretty dark times these days. Race relations in our country are at an all-time low. A lot of people don't feel like they can trust local law enforcement. We have homegrown terrorists in our midst. We have imported terrorists in our midst, and we have terrorists abroad. And there are all sorts of people out there that want to do the most Machiavellian of things to the people that live right next door to them. But despite all those dark times, we have an opportunity every day to cast away some of that darkness and to bring some light and to be what I've heard people that I work with describe as we get to be the best part of a family's worst day. Their loved one has passed away. Their loved one was a veteran. Their loved one was a draftee during World War II. Their loved one quite possibly could have signed up during World War II, and they were, they did a year, they did 2 years in Guadalcanal, or they were in North Africa, or they were in a Normandy D-Day invasion soldier. They were in Korea, they were in Vietnam, they were in Desert Shield, Desert Storm. I think every soldier here, except for Specialist Gibbs, has buried somebody that they know. I've buried friends that I deployed with who sadly took their own lives. So despite all that darkness that I talked about earlier, again, we do have an opportunity to push that aside and to cast some light on, again, the worst part or the best part of a family's worst day. What we hope to gain with not just the Patriot Guard and not just with the EMS personnel, but with every veterans group in the state and with every funeral home is really to forge a three-pronged partnership. Military honors is about honoring the veteran, and I think everybody in the room would agree with that. The military honors has nothing to do with the ego of the group that's out there providing it, whether it's the military or whether it's the veterans group. So the three parts to that three-pronged partnership starts with the funeral home. Mr. Cook and his dad, Mike Cook, they are approached by a family, and Dane Marsh is in the back of the room somewhere too, I think. But the family comes to them when their loved one has passed away, and they are the first people that the family talk to. So that's the first part of the partnership. The second part of the partnership for proper military honors, in accordance with the DoD directive, is to have at least 2 uniformed service members of parent branch present to provide a flag fold and presentation and either a live or a high-quality recording of taps. I'm lucky. I play it. I don't ever have to put ceremonial bugle up to my face unless I'm training somebody. And I don't train people how to do that because I don't know how to do it. All I know is how to play it, right? And the third part of that is the veteran service organizations. The veteran service organizations include the Patriot Guard, American Legions, VFWs, AMVETS, DOVs, the USO. Any group that wants to be out there to support that family, that funeral home, and the military in honoring that veteran. And what can those people do? Like the Patriot Guard do. They're there to protect the family. Originally, I think the Patriot Guard started to protect the families from those who would disrupt a military burial. I would hope that you never have to act in that capacity, but the fact that you're out there as a barrier, as a blockade to protect families, and again, what is the best part of their worst day, is incredible. I would hope that you never have to turn that flag line around and tell people, hey, you need to go place. You need to go someplace else. You can't be here right now. Okay? Those groups can stand on the flag line, fire volleys, provide pallbearer support. Anything that the military is not, cannot provide due to the veterans' length of service, full honors, flag taps, firing party, and flag taps and firing party can only be provided to veterans who have retired, who are currently serving members, killed in action, or Medal of Honor recipients. Every other veteran is entitled to 2 soldiers of parent branch to fold and present the flag, and again, to either play or provide a high-quality recording of taps. It's the partnership, again, the partnership with those veterans groups that we can have that can provide the pallbearers for that family, that can provide the firing party for that family. And that's the partnership that we hope to forge, not just with every funeral home in the state, but with every group of veterans out there that wants to assist the military, the Marine Corps, the Navy, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, the National Guard, all the reserve components in honoring those veterans. Right? And that is so incredibly important. There are some counties in the state where there are veterans groups that say, if you want us, don't call the military. If you want the military, don't call us, because for whatever reason, they don't want to work with us. They don't want to work with the Army. They just don't, or the Marine Corps, or the Air Force, or the Coast Guard. And we're trying to find a way to make sure that every veteran has an opportunity to receive quality military honors. And military honor starts with the funeral home, and then it goes to the military, and then it goes to the Veteran Service Organization. And that's the best way that I can put it. Okay. Before we get started with the actual demonstration for how to unfold and fold the flag, does anybody have any questions? Is this on? No? No questions? Mr. Snyder?
What is the reason behind you never walk on the grass? Salisbury, is that a regulation or is that just you? You never step foot on that grass.
Is there any Marines in the room?
Any who?
You ever walk on the grass and have the Sergeant Major see you? So he gets it. I don't walk on the grass. Salisbury National Cemetery is, I don't know if you know this or not, is not Arlington National Cemetery. However, the 2 words that those 2 places share in common is National Cemetery. Parenthetical shrine. All right? That grass does not belong to me. That grass does not belong to you. That grass belongs to the veterans and their loved ones that are interred there. And I would never dishonor their memory by walking on what is not my ground. That is their ground. More personally, at the parade deck at the Marine Barracks in Washington, D.C., you did not walk on it unless you were marching on it. The Friday evening parade is something that I did on more than one occasion, too many times. I mean, I started out a 9 regular shoe. When I left, I was a 10.5 4E from standing there all night. But you didn't walk on that grass unless you needed to be on it. And get caught walking on it and find out what happens. I mean, it's not good. But, and I do walk on the grass from time to time when I must, but only when I must. So.
There's a sign when you pull in the cemetery if you haven't seen it. Says 19 miles an hour.
It does say 19 miles an hour.
He can't read any important numbers.
Yeah.
Thank you, Larry.
Any other questions?
Not a question, but
Yes, sir.
you do a heck of a
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah. I'm a hack. You know, it's funny because I was speaking with my high school band director earlier today, and there's some other soldiers in the state that are learning how to play. Some played high school band when they were kids, or I should say when they were younger. I had the benefit of having extraordinarily good music teachers when I was in high school. And where I'm from, in upstate New York, we started musical education second and third grade. So we had the opportunity to start much younger. The joke about me playing taps is, of all the soldiers that play in the state, except for one, I'm almost twice as old as all of them, and I only have one lung. Yet I can blow all their doors off, because I played field band growing up when I was in high school. I played marching band. I played outdoors. And if you could play field band in February, literally a stone's throw away from Lake Ontario with a brass mouthpiece up to your face, you're going to be able to play. And I don't know, I appreciate it. But like I said, I'm a hack. I mean, I play 24 notes a day, sometimes 6 times a day. And that's it. I don't even know any other songs. Like, I could play Mary Had a Little Lamb, that's about it. I mean, somebody's like, hey, play Reveille. I'm like, I can't play it. I can play taps. That's what I'm good at. So that's what I need to know how to play. So.
The important thing to remember is he's twice as old as the rest of them, and his instructors are still teaching.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are. You know, but it's funny, you talk about taps. Taps is a lot like folding the flag. So just to see if anybody knows, how many triangular folds in the flag? Anybody? 13. Boom. How many notes in taps? 24, correct. So anybody can fold a flag 13 triangular folds. And anybody can play 24 notes and taps. I mean, anybody can do it. Every single person in this room can learn how to fold a flag, and hopefully everybody in the room tonight learns how to do it, at least with a layman's touch. And everybody in the room, given a little practice, can learn how to play the 24 notes. But the 24 notes and taps is kind of like the blues, right? It's not enough to know the notes to play. You have to know why the notes need to be played in the first place. You know, who in the room knows the 23rd Psalm? Probably half the room does. But do you know the shepherd? That is the essence of what we do every day. And anybody can put 13 triangular folds into this flag. But do you know why those folds need to be made in the first place? And can you put a little bit of yourself in each one of those triangular folds? That is the importance of what we do. I mean, anybody can go out and just, a sterile environment, 24 notes, boom, 13 folds, and get out of there. But do you read the obituary that Mr. Cook and his staff so lovingly put on the website and put in the newspaper? Can you try to draw a correlation between yourself and the veteran? I buried my high school math teacher's brother a year and a half ago. Didn't even know it, but I read the obit and I said, well, that's Mr. Reed. That's my 8th grade math teacher. Again, do you know why the notes need to be played? Do you know why those folds need to be folded? And can you put a little bit of yourself in each one of them? Again, it's easy to do what we do, but to understand why we do it and to internalize the magnitude of what we're doing. Mr. Huffstetler and I were in Franklin, North Carolina yesterday. What was Mr. Henry's first name? We buried a gentleman by the name of Nathan Henry. Nathan Henry reported to Vietnam as a young man in February of 1967. He was an aviator, right? Or he was in a helicopter crash? Nathan Henry was a crew chief on a helicopter in Vietnam, crashed. I believe in the Ai Drang Valley, which was probably one of the most famous battles in Vietnam, if a battle can be famous, and was taken prisoner in July of 1967. Mr. Henry then spent the next nearly 6 years in a concentration camp as a POW and was released with 591 other POWs, Senator McCain being one of those men. The irony of the whole thing is that half of the team that was out there yesterday for Mr. Henry's burial had not even been in the National Guard as long as he had been a POW. And again, that is the magnitude of what we do. The gentleman that I spoke to at that service yesterday, I mean, I know my ribbons pretty well. Guys wearing a CIB with a star above it, so second award of a CIB, 2 silver stars, and a Distinguished Service Cross. A Distinguished Service Cross, for those of you who don't know, is one south of the Medal of Honor. And none of those awards come easily. But to have 2 silver stars and a Distinguished Service Cross and live to tell about it is incredible. The man said he wrote a book and he published it, and it's not for sale. However, my friendship is priced enough for him to send me a book, so I send him my mailing address, and he's going to send me that book. But again, Mr. Huffstetler lovingly folded, along with 5 other soldiers, that flag yesterday, 13 triangular folds. And I had the opportunity to play 24 notes in Mr. Henry's service. No important 24 notes were ever played yesterday, I don't think. And no 13 folds was put into a flag that were more important than those yesterday. That was the opportunity that we had, and that was just for Mr. Henry. We do it every single day. The 2nd of January, the day after New Year's, the active duty components around here were closed. The National Guard worked. We conducted 21 military burials that day. A couple days later, we had 16, 16, 15, 16. When the hurricane was going down in South Carolina, Mr. Huffstetler took over for me at our office, at one of my ancillary duties that I have with the Guard. And all of a sudden, Mr. Huffstetler learned how to manage, oh yeah, I got to figure out how I'm going to cover 18 funerals. 18, 16, 17, 18. And we had this many people to do this much work, because Sergeant Eckert and I were both on hurricane duty in South Carolina, winning hearts and minds, one sandbag at a time. But Mr. Huffstetler was up here trying to figure that out. And I mean, if you could put 10 pounds of stuff into a 5-pound bag, you can have my job. I mean, because it can't be done, yet we still manage to do it pretty much every single day. But, again, the gist of what we do, every veteran service has 2 components: flag fold presentation and a playing of taps, albeit a high-quality recording or a live performance. Again, I'm lucky. I don't have to use the ceremonial bugle. What I have behind me is I have 2 practice flags, both slightly different. They are both 5 by 9.5. They fold slightly differently, because not every flag is the same. However, all flags, there was a congressional proclamation, all flags flown over municipal buildings and presented at military burials will at least be made in America. They do have small variations in the manufacturing process. I also brought with me 2 box flags, brand new, straight out of the box, never been touched as far as I know by human hands. They were folded, put in the box by a machine, and these are what you will most likely see when you go to a military burial. I know that Mr. Cook, along with other many very good funeral homes in the state, make our job incredibly easy when we go to put those 13 triangular folds in that flag, because they process the flag for us. They send it to the dry cleaners, it gets pressed out, it gets starched, and the quality of a product that we can produce with 13 folds is incredible when you work with a funeral home that knows what they're doing, that cares not just about the family that they're serving, but the veteran that they're honoring. However, sometimes we get them straight out of the box. That's not to say that the funeral home didn't do their job, it's that they didn't go that extra mile, for the family and for the veteran. Sometimes they come out of the box because there's no flag present. Mr. Arbuckle?
Are you instructing the funeral homes try to do that if they can?
When we go do funeral home visits, I mean, I don't want to say that I instruct funeral homes, but I let them know that when we receive a flag that's gone to the cleaners and been starched out, that they do make our job incredibly easy. We're not in the business of telling funeral homes what to do. We can ask all we want, but at the end of the day, the funeral home serves their customer is the family, and our customer is the funeral home. And by that process, we also serve the veteran and the family as well. And the funeral homes with whom we do have good working relationships, we come out. It's a properly processed flag. Again, they make our job very easy.
Mr. Arbuckle with my father on
Tell Mr. Snyder that. Mr. Nosker.
I have a question
Sure.
on the playing of taps. Not
Playing
the
of-
playing of taps.
Right.
The protocol to the location of the bugle. Because when I was in, we had specific place to be.
As do we. Yep.
Couldn't be any closer than so far, and all that. And
We have. What is our protocol? Very good question, Mr. Nosker. The book, the procedural manual that we use is the exact same manual for all intents and purposes that the Army uses, the Old Guard does at Arlington National Cemetery. Our book prescribes the bugler to be posted 45 degrees off the foot of the casket opposite the family, 75 to 100 feet away. However, and that is, and again, that's our book. The NAVMAC 2691, which is a Navy Marine Corps drill and ceremony manual, probably says something else. However, the book that we use, the book I have in my van, and the book that I have on digits, 75 to 100 feet away, 45 degrees off the foot, opposite the family. I do not do that at the National Cemetery at Salisbury, because you wouldn't be able, nobody would be able to see me. And a lot of it is geared toward the family, being able to see. I mean, I'd be halfway down the hill in section 15 behind a cedar tree and a brick wall. Yeah.
I fully understand.
Yeah.
You know, and we've talked about it, the problem I have is these guys, they do it standing 10 foot away from the casket,
Right.
right directly in front of the family.
Yeah.
And I know the family's supposed to be able to see it, but you don't need
Correct.
to be there.
Yeah, and not to cast aspersions on those, those service members that you see. But luckily for us, and luckily for the veterans that we honor, and Mr. Hofstetler and Sergeant Eckert and Specialist Gibbs, this is what we do. This is it, 29 days a month. Then we have our drill period 2 days a month. But for a lot of the other service members that come out, this is what else they do. Okay, this is what we do. This is what else they do. They're really good at their job.
So unless it's at the National Cemetery or one of the National
Right.
Cemeteries, there is no, what do I want to call it? No, not.
Deviation?
There is no, I was part of the Air Force's East Coast funeral service.
Oh.
We had the buglers, we had 2 buglers.
Right.
We had,
How'd you do that from a chair?
we didn't do it from a chair, we did it from a bus with no air conditioning.
Oh, I thought they called it the chair force. I'm sorry, I was confused.
With no air conditioning, yeah. And we had, every time we went out, we had to plan to be gone a month.
Man, that's crazy. Man, my wife wouldn't like that. You know, she doesn't like me being here. But yeah,
Are you gonna go over how the flag is displayed at funeral, on the casket?
I can, and we can use the table, as if it were a casket. Okay. Where's your bride tonight? She's not here? Okay. Any other questions? Could I get 2 volunteers from the uniformed audience?
Hey, Brad, I have,
Yes, sir.
and maybe you can just briefly talk about it. Once the flag is folded and presented to the family.
Correct.
What is the protocol to salute if it is moving?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the service, anytime the casket is moving, or anytime the flag is moving, so if the flag is leading an urn, or if the flag is draped over the casket, or if the flag is being carried by a service member or family member because there is a spray on the casket, anytime that flag is moving, we're at present arms. When it stops moving, it's placed on the bier, or it's placed on, some sort of stand. We will cut our salute. Once the flag has been presented to the family, and again, this is just our book. This is not, it's not carved in stone anywhere, but it is typed on paper. Once the flag, for our purposes, once the flag begins to leave the committal shelter, we again do fall back into the position of attention. We render a hand salute. Once the flag is past us, we cut our salute. And technically, a flag that's been folded that way, by definition, I don't know the Army flag manual, but Marine Corps Order Papa 10520.3 Hotel says that a properly folded flag is technically cased, and you don't salute cased colors. I will salute all officers, all colors and standards, not cased. So once it's cased, it doesn't salute, but we do offer that final salute once the flag does leave the committal shelter with its recipient. So in a case, in a box, no salute. So. Anybody else? How many folds in the flag? 13. 3 conditions for a flag to be presentable. Can anybody tell me one? What shape is the flag in? Triangle, right? More specifically, technically, it's an isosceles right triangle because it has one 90-degree angle and then two 45s. The second qualification that a flag for our purposes needs to meet in order to be presentable is there can be no apparent red. A lot of people like to say that the red of the flag symbolizes the blood shed by veterans. And if that's the case, we certainly don't want any red to show. However, for the flag to be presentable, the flag can have no apparent red. And the third qualification, again, for our purposes, that a flag must meet in order to be presentable to a family is that there can be no excess fabric not tucked in. So if throughout the course of those 13 folds, if you short the soldier that's going to be tucking the remaining portion in, and he or she has nothing to tuck in, and it's just hanging out there, well, that flag's not presentable, so you need to fix it before you present it to the family. If you forget to do, and we'll show you a couple of techniques throughout the course of the flag fold, if you forget to do what we refer to as the honcho tuck or close in the mouth, and there's red showing, well, you need to unfold it and you need to fix it. And if by some freak of nature you fold the flag into a shape other than a triangle, well, fix it, and go choke yourself somewhere because I don't know how you managed it, right?
All you really have to do is look over to Sergeant Miller, and he's turned 50 shades of red. He's
Yeah. I wish I had a nickel for every one I presented. I'd probably have a couple rolls of nickels. I mean, I'd make it hail on you or something. But and again, what we do, our job is so incredibly easy. Our job is it's so easy, but it is also so important, and it's very easy to do what we do correctly. But again, there's 13 folds in that flag, and I've lifted a little bit of myself in every single one. Sergeant Eckert, what you and I have probably, between the two of us, I bet you Sergeant Eckert and I have folded close to 10,000 flags.
What's the purpose of the 13? Is just that's how many it takes, or?
I mean, yeah, do we want to say it's one of each of the 13 colonies? You know, 7 shooters times 3 is 21. I mean, there just happens to be 13. If you fold the flags that you guys carry in the flag line, you can't put 13 folds in one of those things. You can't do it.
It wouldn't look like that.
What's that? Keith?
There is a statement, a reading, you can read the fold of each of the 13 flags, which represents the 13 flags.
Yeah, I have heard that, and I think the idea behind what I've heard different groups recite with each of those 13 folds, it is very unique, and it is very well written. However, again, in our protocol, we give commands and we present the flag on behalf of the President of the United States. There's nothing that's, those fold, every one of those folds means something to us, but it doesn't mean something specific that somebody wrote down. And I've seen those. I mean, it's great. I mean, it reads incredibly well. It's very eloquent, and it's...
There's a couple of the honor guards around here that do that.
They do. I know this banner of love and devotion. You know, I've heard that from the Ardell County South guys. You know, if you go to Forsyth County, they talk about, there's another speech that they read. However, for us, again, we give commands, and we present a flag on behalf of the President of the United States, parent branch, and a grateful nation. I mean, that's all we say. Anybody else? Fold the flag. Well, we have to unfold it first. Yes, sir. Right.
See somebody folding the flag wrong, can you stop them?
I can, and I will. I have.
We were doing a mission in Salisbury, and they started folding from the stars and from the stars instead of flags. Sergeant Miller wasn't there.
Yeah. Well.
I've seen him stop people before.
They've got it,
Yeah.
almost where they got to tuck it in before they realized what they'd done and started over.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It is. Again, what we do is pretty easy. And you would like to think that a service member that gets sent out to honor their brother or sister would know what they're doing.
This was Honor Guard doing it too.
It was a high school cadet group, I think, that did that. Was it high school?
So what I do, what I do is I get in there and I'm like, hey, Chief, not on my watch.
I was going to stop, but
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. You all, at the National Cemetery, you could be fined for disrupting a military burial. It's a $250 fine. You go to the Hooskow, right? I think the best thing to do, and is it unfortunate as it is, I don't know. If I was watching this, just me, Brett Miller, not Sergeant Miller, I'm gonna let him do it. I'm let him give that flag up, and I'll step in. Hey, just let you know that's not right. Can I go ahead and fix it for you? Now, however, when I'm working, Salisbury National Cemetery is my house. I mean, I live 7.2 miles from there. Nothing crazy happens there when I'm there. I don't let it happen. And except for one branch of service. The Air Force will let me get in their lane. The Navy lets me get in their lane. Active duty Army does not even come to the National Cemetery anymore in Salisbury because they know that we have soldiers there every single day. The Coast Guard lets me get in their lane. So I've asked them before, hey, you know what you're doing? Are you going to screw this up? Because not on my watch, not in my cemetery. So.
Remember, you had to refold one after the service was over.
Shit, I had to refold one, I don't know, 3 days ago. A lot of times. And again, it's too easy to do what we do. It's too easy to fold a flag properly in an isosceles right triangle with no red, with no excess fabric not tucked in. It's too easy.
We
And-
had a team in the last month out of Salisbury that, once they got up to where they were gonna do the top, they knew they
Yeah,
were in trouble, and they backed it out. Not all the way, but they
yeah,
backed it out.
far enough that they had to.
And, I was really pleased to see them do that.
As would I. Yeah, I know one of my soldiers was working today. I won't lie. 2 of my soldiers were working today. They both had to do it. We don't give a family a bad flag. We have one chance, just like the funeral home does. Funeral has one chance to serve that family for the rest of those families' lives. I have one chance to blow 24 notes. If I'm a Major League Baseball player and I go 23 for 24 in every game that I play, I mean, the Splendid Splinter is going to look like a joke compared to me. Ted Williams is going to be nothing. But if I go 23 out of 24 playing taps, I'm a failure. And if they go 12 for 13 in those folds, they're a failure. And if we go fire 2 perfect volleys and that third one's a little bit loose, we failed. I mean, that's the difference between a family walking away pleased for the rest of their lives and a family walking away saying, I can't believe they did that.
I would rather hear you fail than have someone play a recording.
I don't know. I heard a fail the other day. Taps got 24 notes. I heard 22 get played. I don't know how I feel about that. He wasn't emotional. He was rusty, you know. He missed the high one and the one coming down. Yes, sir.
Flags supplied by the military, or does the funeral home?
Excellent question. The flags are not provided by the military. The flags are provided by the U.S. government. We can provide to families and to funeral homes, and this is something that we talk about with funeral homes. In order to get a flag for a veteran, you have to have a discharge document. And I mean, any of you guys can walk into the post office and get your flag. That's the one that you want to use. So when you go, you talk to Mike Cook, or your family says, hey, Mike, we got this 6 years ago. This is the flag that we want. I don't have mine. That's bad juju. That's a jinx. Hey, why'd Brett die? Son of a bitch went to the post office. He got his flag 2 weeks ago. I mean, that's bad luck. But the funeral homes can assist the family in either getting that, and there's also a VA flag request form you have to fill out, but the funeral homes can assist them in that. And if the funeral home is having trouble, they can call us. Post office, we've gone there. It's Saturday. Crap, we forgot a flag. We'll go to the post office.
What about the ones where you get, like 4 flags?
Good question. So when we have, again, Army service, when we have additional flags to present, flag code says nothing should be placed on or draped over a flag. So you don't drape a flag with another flag. So what we do is we would pre-fold 3, and we would have one with the casket, or we would have one, we call it the primary flag. That one would go to whoever the family deems is going to receive that one. And then we would present the other 3 to their recipients, and we would gently touch the flag to whatever the container is, if it's an urn, if it's an ossuary, if it's a casket, whatever the family wants us to touch it to. But we would touch any additional flags, and they would be presented after the primary flag to their recipients.
And those also provided by the government?
No. The caveat to that is 1 veteran, 1 flag. Just like burial spots. 1 veteran, 1 spot. 1 veteran, 1 spot. Keith?
The statement and the question, the first statement is that we had a mission one time where there was 3 estranged members, and they demanded that there be 3 flags put on the coffin, and they did put them on top of each other, and then they fought over who was going to get one of them directly off the coffin.
Yep.
But the other thing is that I've been to missions before, more than once, where the electronic bugle failed mid-pass. What do you do in that case?
Yeah. Apologize. That's the only thing you can do.
That's why you're not allowed to carry other men.
That's why, well, first of all, your first statement, that's Mike Cook's job. I don't get in family beefs, right? I mean, there's enough in my family. I mean, we're like a Wendy's. I mean, the beef's all over the place, right? You know? So, families do fight over flags. However, there is a term, next of kin. The next of kin is the one who gets to make all those decisions. Next of kin isn't a flag recipient. Next of kin is a legal title. So the next of kin says, I want, Rufus to get the flag. Well, that's who's getting it. Rufus is. And if, the other people out there are, bent out of shape or, got their, they're upset, because Rufus is getting the flag, well, that was that person's legal right to decide who gets that. And the family beef gets figured out by Mr. Cook. That's what they're there for. I just fold and present them. Mr. Cook says X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. Somebody wants to sock me in the face? Fine, that's fine. Here you go. I'm out of here. I've had brass thrown in my face after firing parties. So it's pretty crazy stuff. What's that? The brass? It's not an automatic weapon, dude. Come on.
If there are any issues.
Yeah. The decedent, in this case, the nature of death, presentation of brass was not appropriate. And that would have been good to know beforehand. So a lot of questions we should ask. A lot of questions we think to ask. There's a whole bunch we don't think. So.
Multiple flag presentation, you had to do, as you asked about multiple flag presentations, I think it was Special Starlight, had to do when we presented at the same time, 2 different flags, and neither of which was on the casket. On the little casket, so none would get more than touch the casket, and they had a restraining order against each other.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff.
At the same time.
Yeah, Mr. Cook can tell you, you be in this business long enough, I mean, and you guys have. I mean, you'll see it all. I mean, hell, you might even see a Patriot Guard rider pass out. Ooh. See what I did there? You see how I did that? And if Ricky Shin was here tonight, I would have given him the look, If Ricky Shin was here, he'd have gotten the look instead. But you see what I did there? You see how I did that? Yeah, that's the needle. That's the needle. Needles aren't just for turntables anymore. So.
That was the thing after I got back from this.
What, La Familia?
Yeah.
La Raza. Any other questions? 3 qualifications. Triangular in shape, no apparent red, and no excess fabric not tucked in. What you're going to see Mr. Huffstetler and Sergeant Eckert do, they're going to basically do what for us is a standard cremation service, where we receive a flag that's already been, and a lot of times we pre-fold it so it opens how we need it to, or we look at it, and Sergeant Eckert and I can, and Mr. Huffstetler too for that matter, we can look at a folded flag and tell you if it's going to open how we need it to. Blue in the left hand, and stripes in the right hand. Okay, and that's how we need to do it. Again, that's by our manual. If we get one that's blue in the right, stripes in the left, you got 2 choices. You can either flip it, or you know how to do it that way, and that takes a little bit of extra skill. So, it doesn't have to be crazy formal. So just a little vocabulary before we get started. You might hear me refer to as the red and white portion of the flag as the field. I may refer to the blue portion as the union or the canton of the flag. Both are acceptable. So what Sergeant Eckert here has done, and they're going to let me talk through it a little bit, she has presented the flag to Mr. Huffstetler. He's going to pull out the portion. I call that it's the hoist portion. So the hoist is the vertical, the fly is the horizontal, okay? So he's pulled out the hoist portion of the flag, and every time the point of the flag, as Staff Sergeant Eckert unfolds it, both soldiers will take a step backward. And the reason that we do that is because if you look from where I'm at right now, from my vantage point, that flag and those 2 soldiers are centered on that boxed flag right there, which for right now would be the cremated remains of the veteran, right? So they both step backward in an effort or in an attempt to keep the flag centered on the cremated remains, okay? So they're going to begin to unfold the flag. Sergeant Eckert's going to do a slightly elaborate tracing pattern. Unfolds it once, you'll see them both step backward. Boom, they both take a step back, okay? They both step back. They both step back. Excellent. Again, that is the reason that both soldiers step back at the same time. However, when we fold a flag, only the fold soldier steps, right? The presenter, Mr. Huffstetler in this case, does not. So you're going to see some nonverbal cues. When we're standing up at the beer, you're probably never going to hear us talk. We give a little eye wink, a thumb flick. Mr. Huffstetler here is going to wrist roll a hand, and we always give our nonverbal cues from the side opposite the family. So when we have 6 soldiers standing at the beer doing a 6-soldier flag fold, and we all simultaneously take an out and away step, that nonverbal cue came from the soldier that stands across from me, and she gives me an eye wink, which I've had to ask her to do something else. They've opened the flag, so at a service normally, on a cremation service, they pop open the flag, boom, immediately go into the refold. I'm sorry, can you guys switch spots so they can see the setting of the border in 8 and 10? So the flag is opened. The idea is to have the flag, totally stretched out, no droop, no sway in the flag. However, this flag has been folded on more than one occasion, so there is a little bit of a droop in the middle. Mr. Huffstetler will give a nonverbal cue to initiate the first fold of the flag, the first lengthwise fold. And you're going to see what Mr. Huffstetler's done here. He's done what we refer to as setting the border. When we set the border, we fold the field portion up to the canton or the union of the flag, 1 to 2 inches down from the top, aligning the hoist portion of the flag. A good rule of thumb for us is a lot of times we'd like to put the red on the horizontal portion of that top star. That's a good rule of thumb, okay? Sergeant Eckert also sets the border down at her end just a little bit, and again, that's a technique for us that we do, and you'll see later on in the flag fold why we do that. Mr. Huffstetler will now give a nonverbal cue. Both soldiers slide their hands to the bottom of the flag. They'll rotate the flag horizontally. Another nonverbal cue, and they will, again, match the folds that they made the first lengthwise fold. They will match with the second lengthwise fold, okay? The flag comes horizontal again, and Sergeant Eckert, everything is on her now. Not until the 13th fold does Mr. Huffstetler have to worry about anything. So this is all Sergeant Eckert's job. So she starts her first triangular fold, always left to right for us. You always want to go from the folded portion to the open portion. So she conducts the first triangular fold, and then you'll see what she's doing. She does what we call a cheat. She cheats the flag right here on the seam for the second fold, and that makes it so there will be enough for Mr. Huffstetler to tuck in down here. No cheat, nothing to tuck in. What's the third qualifying factor? No excess fabric, not tucked in. If the flag is not cheated properly, we won't be able to meet our third qualifying factor. Then we have to unfold it, okay? Keith? This seam right here is where where the second fold is conducted, okay? Keith?
I've seen before where some of the flag folders fold in about straight, about 3 inches.
Well, they conduct their cheat before they do fold number 1. And again, different branches, it's kind of like different strokes for different folks. But what we do, Arlington manual, that's the way they tell us to do it. That's the way that we do it. So Sergeant Eckert's going to conduct the second fold. So after that, and again, every time the point goes toward Mr. Huffstetler, she's going to take a step. Not too big a step, because you want to make sure that you maintain tension on the flag, but not so small a step, that she's all the way out here. You want to appear natural every time you're folding the flag. So now there are no more cheats to be done on the flag. You cheat it on the second fold, and as long as you do it right, you'll never have to cheat it again, okay? Sergeant Eckert's going to keep on folding. She's going to conduct folds 3 through 8. On the 8th fold, we're going to stop because that's going to be our first checkpoint to see if we're going to have a flag that can meet all 3 those qualifications. Again, triangular in shape, no visible red, and no excess fabric not tucked in. So on fold number 8, Sergeant Eckert hit her first checkpoint absolutely perfect. You want to have the point of the flag just on the field, just to enter the canton. You want it just into the blue, almost to the first star right here, but not past that first star. Okay, that's what our SOP says. What technique for us says is you just want to sneak it in there. Because if you just sneak it in there, you know that Mr. Huffstetler, the present soldier is going to have ample flag to tuck in. If you get it too close to that star, he's really going to have to stuff it in there, and you don't want that. Again, you want everything to appear natural. Okay, so on Sergeant Eckert is going to conduct her 9th and 10th folds. Well, so we'll see now why Mr. Huffstetler set the border. And again, we set the border, a good rule of thumb again is to have the red portion of the horizontal of the top star. Now we have this, if we can fold it vertical again, we're going to do what we refer to as a honcho tuck. We refer to the honcho tuck because the honcho is a position on a 6-soldier flagfold. Because Mr. Huffstetler set this border right here, Sergeant Eckert will be able to take her thumb and first finger on her right hand, and she'll be able to curl it over this point on the flag, effectively hiding that point and almost being able to meet our criteria of number 2, which is no visible red showing on that flag. Everybody see that? So Sergeant Eckert's going to go ahead and execute the honcho tuck. What she's going to do on fold number 11, again, we refer to as closing the mouth. And the mouth is this portion of the flag right here. Sergeant Eckert is going to take her thumb and first finger on her left hand. She's going to grasp the blue portion. She's going to take her middle, ring, and pinky finger. Man, I tell you what, good thing Mr. Cook's not in here. You get in trouble. She's going to take her thumb and first finger on her left hand, grasp the blue portion. She's going to take her middle, ring, and pinky finger of her left hand, and she's going to stuff in whatever corner is right here, right? But because she set the border down there, Sergeant Eckert did that, now she's got this little flap of fabric right here that makes that, you don't even have to do it, but we still do it because that's the book. She's still going to close the mouth on the flag. And again, that also comes into play when we set the border up here on the initial lengthwise fold and then repeating that again on the second lengthwise fold. She's going to go ahead, she's going to close the mouth, execute fold number 12, and execute fold number 13. So if we could show the class for a minute. On fold number 13, as you can see, there is no red on the hypotenuse of this triangle. There is no red right here facing Mr. Huffstetler, and there is no red underneath Sergeant Eckert's right hand. So it's a triangle in shape right now already, and there's no red to be seen. So if the flag winds up a catastrophe, it's all on Mr. Huffstetler. Right? So when you get a fold soldier of minus Sergeant Eckert's caliber, and young Specialist Gibbs here's quickly joining the ranks of high quality folders, after 13 folds, it's good. It's all on this soldier now to make sure that he doesn't just, completely destroy the work that you just did. So what Mr. Huffstetler is going to do is he's going to start the tuck portion. He takes the hoist of the flag and he places it underneath all this portion of the flag, not just under the top pocket, not in the bottom pocket, but underneath the entire triangle of that flag. He's going to start it at the center, and he's going to sweep it out all the way to the corner so Sergeant Eckert with her left hand can put a death grip on that. Mr. Huffstetler wants to create a little U of fabric right here, and you'll see why we have that U, okay, in just a second. See the U right here? Started at the center, and he swept it all the way out to the corner there, and Sergeant Eckert's got a grip on that. You have to have a death grip on that portion, because if that portion pops out, the flag is going to look like a big old pillow, and nobody wants, it's not to lay your head on. So Mr. Huffstetler is now going to do, it's a technique that I do. He dresses up the flag, matches up the angle of the portion to be tucked in with the angle that is being held by Sergeant Eckert's left hand. He's going to roll it back with his left hand, grasp with the right, open with the left, and he's going to, in one firm, forceful, but natural motion, he's going to stuff the remaining portion of that flag underneath the top layer of folded fabric. Let's see. Who in here, this is a funny question, who in here rides a motorcycle? Right? So, throttle is with the right hand, right? We do what's referred to as a reverse motorcycle. So Mr. Huffstetler opens the flag up. He's going to take his thumb and his first finger, and he's going to open this portion here, and he's going to throttle with his left hand. He's going to use that U that we created, now creates a portion of fabric that can create a corner on the tucked corner that's just as sharp as the folded corner. And you don't want to have a blocky corner, because then it also almost turns into a four-sided triangle. But again, he opens that portion with his right hand, and he rolls it in there with his left to get that fabric to curl over the triangle that Sergeant Eckert so lovingly folded 13 times. Again, you want to have two matching 45-degree angles with a solid 90-degree angle. This is just a ceremonial portion that we go through. Mr. Huffstetler places two hands on it. Sergeant Eckert cuts a knife hand down the side, raises it up to her torso, left over right. Mr. Huffstetler is going to do, I refer to it as looking a soldier off. He's going to look that flag off. He's going to look to the left. We call these the horns. He's going to look at the left horn. He's going to look at the right horn, and he's going to look at the 90 that's down on the bottom. And wherever Mr. Huffstetler stares and doesn't look away from needs to be fixed and needs to be addressed. So Sergeant Eckert will go down to the 90, and you can feel it if it's messed up. Yeah, she wears a hat. She's like a,
He's 2 inches far now.
whatever. So,
First stand up. Goes at the bottom of the flag, but the last hook
goes in the top, correct. So Sergeant Eckert's going to, she takes her left hand, she goes down to the 90, she feels that, makes sure that nothing's folded over, traces all the way up to her left shoulder, goes back to left over right. She takes her right hand, goes down to the 90, traces up to her right shoulder, makes sure that everything's good to go. Places it left over right. Simultaneously slides both hands out to the horns, lowers the flag to Mr. Huffstetler by her elbows. He receives the flag left over right. However, if Mr. Huffstetler were to receive that flag right over left, universal symbol for fix what you just did. He will push the flag back to her. Boom. She's going to face it to him, untuck, unfold, and she's going to fix it. Never reopen on a refold. All you do is you push it back, you undo 13 folds, and you redo 13 folds. You don't open the lengthwise folds. Mr. Huffstetler is going to, however, because this flag is presentable, he's going to receive the flag left over right. Sergeant Eckert returns back to the position of attention, executes what we refer to as a 9-count salute, which is an up for 3, hold for 3, down for 3. Mr. Huffstetler pops the flag into his abdomen. Sergeant Eckert conducts an about face, goes to secure the bugle, and posts up by the family vehicle because that's where we post after the funeral service is over. Mr. Huffstetler then pushes the flag away from him, spins it, so the hypotenuse of that triangle is facing the family because if we were to present it with the point, we refer to that as stabbing the family. You never want to stab them. You always want to present the flat portion, the hypotenuse of that triangle to the family. And we recite our flag presentation speech, which is, "Ma'am or sir, on behalf of the President of the United States Army, and a grateful nation, please accept this flag as a symbol of our appreciation for your loved one's honorable and faithful service." That flag presentation verbiage comes straight from the Secretary of Defense. We don't say anything else. They say thank you, we salute. We don't say you're welcome. We don't say God bless you. We don't say your husband was a swell guy. We don't say anything like that.
So no matter what branch, you always say it.
That's an interesting question. 9 times out of 10, we don't present flags for other branches. However, if parent branch is unable, unwilling, or just not present, or wasn't requested, I know plenty of people that just want us because they like us and we do a good job. We would say on behalf of the President of the United States and a grateful nation. I have 2 friends, people that I knew, I would present the flag on behalf of the United States Marine Corps. I mean, I could do that. But the Secretary of Defense gives us that flag verbiage. On the off chance that one of you has to present a flag, I don't have a First Amendment right wearing this uniform. However, you do. You can say whatever you want. Whatever you say, because nobody out there is going to go out to dishonor a veteran or dishonor their family. Whatever you say will be right. Because I'm sure you're not going to present the flag to a stranger. You're going to present it to somebody that you know. Whatever you say comes from the heart. You can't go wrong. However, that is our flag presentation speech. We may not deviate from it. I've only ever deviated once from that. The husband of my children's preschool teacher passed away. I knew his first name. I knew his wife's first name. And I said, "Patsy, on behalf of the President of the United States Army, and a grateful nation, please accept this flag as a symbol of our appreciation for Texas' honorable and faithful service." That's the only time I've ever deviated from that flag speech. And Patsy said it meant everything in the world to her that I used her first name, because she knew it was personal coming from me, but it made all that much more personal because I used her first name, and it wasn't cold or impersonal because I just said ma'am or sir. So, any questions?
It's okay to do that,
What's that?
if you know the person,
For us?
if you're,
Yeah.
is it,
Is it okay? No, because the rules are the rules. However, I'm not going to get fired because I used somebody's first name. And I think my boss would say that it's okay. So I didn't ask for permission. It's easier to ask for forgiveness, I guess. Yes, sir. Mr. Kane.
The flag is placed over a casket,
Correct.
and you have an open casket.
Yes, sir.
What is the protocol for holding the flag
Oh, that's a good question. And I think, is anybody else in the room from Jersey? Anybody? Anybody? I think the best answer to that question, as far as flag code goes, the flag may be, and I think there's a technical term in the funeral home business, where it's called a half drape, where a portion of the flag is tucked underneath and the flag is pulled back while the blue is still showing, the red and white is still showing. But the best person to ask for that is probably Mr. Cook, because that is going to be how he wants it in accordance with the flag code. I know, though, on a closed casket, veteran lays in the casket, the blue of the flag, the Union or the Canton, is always over the left shoulder.
We do it two ways here. We do it three folds on the field,
Right?
and then we do one fold on the field.
Okay. And I don't think you can go wrong. The best place to look would be in the flag code. There's nothing in our manual that prescribes anything like that. Because, again, we're more about the honor side of it and not so much about the committal or the church portion of it. Yes, sir?
When you unfold the flag,
Yes.
before you refold it, it's always unfolded with the blue to the left, right?
Hopefully.
You know, if they have
Yeah.
to turn around.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, and I'm guilty of this as well, so many people, if this were a church service and all these tables were pews, and we were looking at the table as that was the casket, the blue would always be off to our left, right? And that is the blue is the senior color on the flag. When you're in church and you're looking at the pastor, the flag is always off to his left. If you're looking at a public speaker, the flag is always off to, it's off to our left. And I think we get so used to seeing it. And then the funeral home business, there's a more practical reason that if the veteran were up here and the flag were off to the right, if you tried to open the casket, the casket would open toward you. So you wouldn't be able to have an open viewing. So I need to see the blue off to the left. And I'm like, hey, why was the flag backward? As long as the blue, for our purpose, as long as the blue is in the left hand and the field is in the right hand, and ensures a proper fold for us. Again, I like to see the blue off to the viewer's left because it's what we're accustomed to seeing.
When they unfold it, they would hold it so that when they took the first tuck out of there, and the hoist portion,
Correct.
always be to the left.
Well, that would actually, it would be, yes, it would be off to your left. So when the flag got popped open, you would, if they tilted it to the viewers, which we don't do, it would be properly oriented. Otherwise, it would be a sign of distress. The flag is it's very difficult to understand sometimes. I was talking with a couple of folks before the class. The First Amendment of the Constitution is incredibly difficult to understand. It's a very easy one. Again, it's very easy to do what we do. 13 folds, 24 notes, 3 volleys, and it's very easy. And free speech, it's the First Amendment of our Constitution. Free speech also, it lets me fly the flag. It lets me put it to half-mast when a veteran passes away. It lets me put it half-mast all day on Memorial Day. It lets me put it half-mast until noon on Veterans Day. It also affords me the right to burn it. Understand that the flag can be a difficult thing to understand. So as long as you're doing what you feel to be right with the flag, in accordance with the flag code, you really can't go wrong with it. Because, again, it is protected under the First Amendment. Difficult to understand, and I struggle with it every single day. I stopped at a guy's house. He had the flag upside down. I said, knocked on his door. Sir, you in distress? He's like, well, no, why? I said, well, your flag's upside down. He's like, I hate America. I was like, well, that's great. Have a good day. See ya. I tell you what. Yeah. Hey, honey, can you go down the street a second? I'm going to take care of something here. Never. No. Again, our book, unfold, pop it open, hold it just like this, fold. 13 folds. There are some branches, tilt the flag, display to the family. Some do it like this. Yep. Some do it like that. What we do, horizontal. If we do a 6-soldier flag fold, how are we going to do that? Are we going to, do something like this? But we just hold it perfectly aloft, horizontal to the ground. Yeah, everybody, it's, sit, kneel, bend, stand, that kind of thing. I don't know. Yeah. Who wants to hear the speech? Anybody? Mr. Nusker.
The way we do it at the National Cemetery, the
3 volleys. 21 gun salute's different.
Yeah,
It's a misnomer.
yeah, the 3 volleys, the playing of taps, and then the folding of the flag.
Correct. Arlington order. Iredell County South, Joe Stallings and his crew, they do flag, fire, taps. First Amendment right. That's what it is. We gain no traction with Mr. Stallings and his crew by digging our heels in and saying, this is how we're going to do it.
No.
Yeah.
No, I understand that,
But-
because the Air Force does it differently.
Yeah, the Air Force, on behalf of the Honor Guard speech, they fold the flag, they ask the family to rise, then they shoot, I play, and then they present to the family. The Air Force kind of gets it right. The last line of yeah, sure. In the flag code, which is code and not law, says the flag should be removed from the casket before volleys are fired. So when we fall into the casket and we salute and we present arms and the flag is still draped over the casket, Veterans Group fires, I play, and we fold, violation of flag code. When the Marine Corps picks it up, when the Navy picks it up, when the Air Force folds it and holds it, they get it right by the flag code. We get it right every time by our SOP. And what I am hired and fired by is that book. Flag code, it's relevant to me, but not to Sergeant Miller as much. Yes, sir?
Have you ever seen the group, and I can't recall which one it is, but they'll hold the flag up at diagonally while they play the pass. But then when they come down, there's 6 of them, 3 on each end, and they will throw the bottom half of the flag over their top and catch it.
Well, we do it with 6. If we had 6, we could do it, but, we don't throw it, but we slap it into the other soldier's hand. Anybody going to Historic? 10 o'clock, Historic Cemetery in Salisbury, Wednesday morning. It's going to be a Major General retired, interred. You'll see that there. He is. I think Rockwell, but General Emerson, 44 years retired. That's a lot. He's got more time in service than I do on the planet. Sure. So, I could stand up here crack wise all night, but I'm sure that's not why anybody came here. This is not open mic night for me. I hope what everybody would like to do tonight is to come up here. We have 2 national trainers. We have 2 soldiers that definitely know what they're doing. I encourage everybody, we could put a new flag and a practice flag at the chow hall end of the room, and we can have a new flag and a practice flag up at this end of the room, and we invite everybody to come up, get on a flag, feel it. Flags originally were made from a fabric called vexillium, which is why the study of flags is called vexillology, right? But these flags are just made out of cotton. But it feels so good in your hands. The American flag does. I never feel it. It's always gloves, right? But it's the greatest job we've ever had. It's an incredible, awesome opportunity, again, like I said earlier, to be the best part of a family's worst day. Their loved one has passed away. And they're looking to you to make sure that they get proper military honors. And that requires 3 groups. That requires a funeral home. That requires a funeral home like this one that knows their job, that calls the local military. And that requires also a funeral home that wants to make sure that that veteran gets every honor to which they are entitled. And that includes the local veterans group to make sure that they receive a firing party. Flag, taps, and firing party. Those are the 3 honors that we are afforded. Not everybody is entitled, but we can all get them. And again, it requires funeral homes and military and veterans groups to all work together in a partnership to make sure that happens. Any questions before we do hands-on? You got any questions back there, Jersey? That's you, Mr. Kane. At this time. Mr. Nosker.
I'm sorry, when did they stop putting the brass in the flag?
Flag code says nothing should be placed on or inside of a folded flag. Some branches still do it. Fort Bragg does it. I've seen him. I watch him. You see me put brass inside a flag, let me do it and then choke me. Yeah.
No. But that used to be the way we had to do it.
Yeah. And I don't know when that portion was put into the flag code. I do know that it's not what we do. I do know that flag code does not let us do it. And again, I mean, I see people do it. I'm like, how do you do that? I mean, why? I mean, I get it. I understand why they do it. But clearly says in the flag code, you know, I mean, nothing should be placed on or inside. I mean, President Bush signed his name on the flag. What a bonehead. You know, I mean, why would you do something like that? On national TV, no less. It's like saluting with a latte. See what I did there? See what I did? Quick. Like I said, this is an open mic. I'm going to be down at the back end of the classroom with Mr. Gibbs. Sergeant Eckert and Mr. Huffstetler stay up at this end of the room, and let's get to it.
I got a question.
One more.
I mean, I'm tall. I didn't know if there was any difference when you fold this up.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny.
The reason I say that, because when I carry furniture with a
Right.
bunch of guy, it's hard as it.
Okay. So, yeah. So when you're folding a flag, I mean, I was a dumb kid. Shocker. So I always had. My stepdad would say, "Here, hold this," and that was the working end of the that was the hold end of the tape measure. He got the business end of it, where all the numbers are. You know, hey, hold this. Hey, hold this ladder. So the business end of the flag is the red and white. So if you and I are folding the flag, and I have the red and white, and I fold right here, because that's where I fold, that's where you're holding. You hold it down there. If you have the business end of it, and you're folding up here, that's where I'm holding. So 6-soldier flag fold. The foot always sets the height, the red and white. The field does. So wherever the fold soldier and wherever the honcho are, what's that? Yeah. I can't get it. Can't get it. You know. So. Yeah. So.
We put you with a normal-sized person in the mountain just
Yeah, it works out. You know. So again. The field sets the height, wherever the red and white's at. So if you got a Lilliputian and you got Shaq, I mean, it's what it is. I mean, there's a troop that tried out for the program. I hired him sight unseen. Walks through the door, said, "Dude, where'd they find you?" Sucker had to duck to get through the door. He's 6'9". I'm like, what am I going to do with you, troop? I mean, I couldn't even put him at Salisbury. He'd hit his head on the fan. Put him, are you? He's got, and the kid drives a Volkswagen Cabriolet. His head sticks out the top. It looks. No, you don't. Yeah, just like Hightower in Police Academy, he ripped the seats out. Again, everybody, we appreciate everybody being here tonight.
Forrester 883.
Yeah. Again, we appreciate everybody being here tonight. And again, we're going to start the hands-on. Again, I'll be down at the end of the room with Mr. Gibbs, and Staff Sergeant Eckert and Mr. Huffstetler will be at this end of the room. Appreciate it.
I have one question.
Sure.
While this is folded, we had one guy that was real particular. He said there's supposed to be so many stars. A certain order, so I'm trying to get, is there one?
Was it even on?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, is it dead? Because I thought that was green earlier.
Yeah, it was going through the whole time.
Okay.
Well,
Well, let's see here.
yeah, well, you know, this one looks like it's running uphill.
Hope that was okay.
Oh yeah. No, that was.
So I was just kind of curious about it.